Okay, hi everybody. This is the promised update video for you. Just wanted to bring you up to date on what's going on with me at this moment, and we certainly have some life lessons built into this one. I went to the doctor yesterday and I was frankly a little bit nervous because there was a snowstorm, and when the snow started falling, they kept saying, it was at night, and they kept saying that it was going to get worse, and they were talking about considerable snowfall, and that it was likely to impact the island quite a bit. Although fortunately it was, for us, it was more out east today than it was west, which is where I am. I was so afraid I wouldn't be able to make the appointment because she's only there one day a week, and I really needed to get in to determine what's going on. So by the time I saw her, and she had taken a look at the pictures, the films, and of the MRI, and she had read the report. And she came in, and by the time I got there, on the way there, I had told my friend Linda, who went with me, that I was feeling very calm. And I was feeling somehow that it was fine. Well, then I had the appointment, and then I had the conversation with her, and it's not good. It turns out that this mass that I have on my thigh into my groin also goes up past that into my abdomen. I mean, I knew based upon Rachel's father that it was in the pelvis somewhere, you know, that it was not local only to my leg. So I was prepared for that, but what I was not prepared for was the fact that she said to me, the part of it that shows is only 1/2 or 1/3 of the size of the growth. It's huge. A good part of it is in my abdomen, or in that, it's higher than the pelvis, because she told me with the surgery they'd have to go in from the waist down, I guess. I don't think it was up from the waist. You know, after she told me how bad it was, I missed some of the rest of the stuff she said. I meant to ask her if I could tape it, you know, do an audio tape so that I could remember the things that she said, because I knew I wouldn't remember everything. But she did say that I really needed surgery quickly, that it definitely looks like a sarcoma. She said there are about 100 subtypes, and that she needs to know which one it is. So the next step of it is to have a biopsy done, and I'm scheduled for the biopsy on Friday. Now, originally she had said to me the biopsy was very straightforward and that I would be able to drive and it was not an issue at all. And I said, okay, so we scheduled that I come in at 9:45 on Friday. Now, there is one caveat. I need to be well. And unfortunately, I felt like I was coming down with a cold, and I thought, oh, please don't let that be a problem either, because I don't want to delay this anymore. It's going on for months and months now, and I feel more than a little bit guilty that I didn't investigate it further earlier. Because when the doctor had said that he felt that it was a lipoma and nothing to worry about, he said what I wanted to hear. And I think that there's a lesson in that for all of us. Just because, medically or in any other way in life, just because somebody says what you want to hear, if that little voice, or if there is any doubt, saying, check it out further, do it. I should have done it much sooner. It might have been a much simpler thing. until we have the results of the biopsy, we won't know. And the thing is, I won't be able to drive myself, because when I went to the radiology department, they told me that they are going to give me, I don't know, I won't be fully out. I guess maybe it's twilight. They're giving me Versed with fentanyl. And they said I would be very relaxed. And I need to be there an hour before the procedure, then an hour after that in the recovery room. And then we move on to whatever comes after that. Monday, I'm scheduled for a CT scan of the chest, the lungs, because the doctor was saying that this kind of a sarcoma very often starts in the lungs, and she just wants to make sure that there's nothing there. So I will ask you again to say a little prayer for me that there is nothing there. She's very anxious to get this surgery done. It's going to be much more complex than I thought it was going to be. In my naivete, I thought that they would make an incision somewhere around my thigh or where my thigh meets my groin, and they would take out what I refer to lovingly as my baked potato, because when somebody had asked me at one point, what does it look like? How would you describe it? And they said, is it like the size of an egg, or is it like a ball? I said, no, it's like a baked potato. You know how a baked potato is longer and sort of oval? That's the kind of shape that it was. But what I'm learning from everybody at this point is that the part of this mass that extends from my body and made me recognize that it was there was probably the secondary part of it, that it probably started in my pelvis, as Rachel's father said, possibly a long time ago, and it wasn't until it started to show externally that I was aware that anything was there at all. So at this point, the CT scan should reveal a lot, but the part, I had the doctor show me on the films exactly where it was, because I had seen the films. I had it in my patient portal from the radiology from Zwanger-Pesiri, and I had been able to see it, and I had sent it to her father to see. I didn't know what I was looking at, though. I thought that the growth was actually what turned out to be my bladder, so it shows you how much I know about this. And by the way, I have a really pretty bladder. It looks really nice and looks good to me. Anyway, what was the other thing? There was something else. Oh, the surgery itself. Surgery is complex. What she said to me, because of the fact that there's so much above my leg and into my abdomen, it's behind, apparently, behind my organs and leaning against my right hip. So what they have to do, she explained to me, is they have to move the organs out of the way. Then they have to protect the arteries and the nerves and the blood vessels and everything else in there. So the surgery is tedious, and it takes a very long time because, as she said, they remove it very, very slowly. They don't want to cause any more damage in the body. They just want to remove it and then remove some, there's a margin they have to remove to make sure that everything is clear. So the surgery itself can take anywhere from 4.5, I guess, to 6.5 hours, or who knows, 4.5 hours and more possibly. So it makes me nervous. It's much more substantial a surgery than I anticipated. And the recuperation, she said, would take, she asked me if I had a partner who could help out with my things at work. And I said, not really. And the truth is, if I'm not there and I'm not doing things, there is no work. So it's very, very complicated in my world. and something that I really maybe should have. I don't know how you can plan for this kind of thing, though. But the recuperation, she said, would take a minimum of 2 months and possibly more. Now, there's no way to know the prognosis. There's no way to know really exactly what's going to happen until we have these other test results, so we know what we're dealing with. The biopsy, hopefully, and it's going to be a core needle biopsy, which takes a little bit more of a sample. She explained to me that the fine needle biopsy doesn't take enough, it doesn't reveal enough in a sarcoma to give them the information they need. But this core needle biopsy hopefully will, but this is the one where they need to give me some kind of sedation, I guess, to make sure that I don't jerk my leg when they stick the needle in or take a snip or whatever. I'm going to try not to be concerned about any of this stuff. I've been doing all the pre-op workup. I've had the my EKG done. I've had blood work done. I will have had these 2 tests by Monday. I have another appointment with her on Tuesday, and she wants to schedule the surgery for March 26th at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And she told me I would be in the hospital for at least a week. And after that, I asked if I would be able to function because I live alone. And would I be able to come home, and how would that work? And I've got my dogs, and I've got... So you start to think about all the things that you need to do and all the things that are really important to take care of. And you'd have a finite period of time to do it before you're going to be in terrible shape for a long time. And I won't be able to do much of anything, which in and of itself is not where I live. So I know that's true for a lot of people, and I don't mean to complain, because if they are able to take it out, and if I'm able to have some kind of quality of life afterwards, it'll be fine. I don't know what the quality of life is going to be like. I don't know how much muscle they're going to have to remove when they do this surgery, and how much rehabilitation I'm going to need just to be able to function. She did say to me when it was all over, depending upon what happens and what they find along the way, I might have to walk with a cane. In the beginning, I'll probably need a walker, and I'll have to adjust to all of it. And I really want to take you along on the journey, because I promised you I would, and because I think there's some value in it, because somebody at some time is going to face having to have something done, and all of the fears and all of the concerns and all of the things that you think about, you'll know that somebody went through it before you. Of course, there are lots of somebodies who have gone through it before all of us, but unless people share their stories, we don't know. So we don't know what to expect. We don't know what to ask. I think I have a really good surgical oncologist. It's her specialty, sarcoma, and supposedly this is what she does. She also told me she wanted to have another surgeon in the OR when she's doing the surgery who also has a lot of experience with sarcoma, so that between the two of them, they will be able to give me the best possible outcome. There's a lot that's still unknown, and one of the things, there are a couple of really good life lessons in this already, right at this moment in time, and I'm sure there'll be many more. One is, don't sweat the small stuff, because all the little things that we get ourselves all upset about on a daily basis become minuscule, become unimportant, don't even exist when something this major comes up in your life. So I'm going to still hope for the best, though if I'm going to be 100% honest, I'm nervous. I'm worried about what the outcome is going to be. I pray that it's good. I still don't know what kind of sarcoma it is. If it is contained, the outcome will be much better than if it's not. We'll see. And I'm going to take you along for the ride. And I think once again, I think another one of the lessons is certainly for me at this moment in time is that don't think necessarily that you know exactly the road that you're on and the road that you're meant to continue to be on, because life can change in a split second. Many of us know that. Many of us have yet to face that, but it can. So in the time that you have that's good, enjoy it, embrace it. Tell the people that you love them. Let them tell you that they love you. And just live your life to the fullest that you can every minute, every waking minute. So on that note, I will say goodbye for this time. I pray to God I don't get a cold, because if I have a cold, they cannot do the biopsy, they told me. I have to call and cancel. My girlfriend and I went out to lunch on Monday, and she had a little bit of a cough. She told me she was not sick, that it was, I forgot what she thought it was, but it turned out that she was sick, and she's now got a really bad cold. I started to feel a little bit of a funny feeling in the back of my throat, that post-nasal kind of thing. I do not want to have a cold. I do not want to have to postpone this, because I don't know how fast it's growing. And I want it to be as easy as possible and hopefully give me the best result possible. So pray for me also that I don't get sick. I am loading up on vitamin C. I took 1,000 milligrams last night when I first felt it starting. I took another 1,000 milligrams of it this morning. I will take another 1,000 milligrams tonight, because any time in the past that I have felt a cold coming on, if I can catch it early enough and I take 2,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C, typically I can avoid it. I pray that this time is like that. I need to avoid it. I need to really get this diagnostic stuff done so she knows where we're headed and I can know where we're headed, and I can then plan for the future. In the meanwhile, I have so much to take care of here that I don't know where to start. So on that note, my friends, I thank you once again for praying for me and for holding me in your thoughts, and it's uplifting for me, and I thank you very much for it. And I will be back after the next test, and that again is Friday. So hopefully I will have my experience of it. I won't have the results. I won't have the results probably until I meet with the doctor on Tuesday. And again, I'm having the CT scan on Monday. So I will update on everything, and we'll see where it takes me. It's an unplanned road. It's a road I would not have chosen, but maybe where it's taking me to is a really good place. We just don't know that yet. What looks horrible sometimes is the first step on a muddy path to a beautiful place. Maybe this is that for me. I'll pray that it is. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day. I love you all, and I so appreciate you. See you soon.